Hello. Today we're going to talk about when you, as intended parents, are going to be speaking to or meeting with your surrogate for the very first time. What I always like to tell everyone is to start with a list. The list should include issues which are important to you when thinking about matching with a surrogate, when thinking about the person who's going to be carrying your child. Um, Typically, items that are on this list are communication, and what may fall under communication would be, do you work? Is your workday restrictive for speaking or texting? What is your family life like in so far as schedule? Are you very busy during the evenings, maybe, at sports practice or, various activities with your children? What is your weekend schedule like? So you're trying to get a good idea of how available and when your surrogate is available to communicate with you. If you are not in the same country, time differences also become an important factor. Um, what type of communication is important? Meaning email, texting, telephone, Skyping, FaceTime. So, communication is a very important aspect. If you want a lot of regular communication, you should be saying this and making sure that this particular surrogate candidate is comfortable with that. Perhaps you're not going to be able to communicate so often. Again, you should be making sure that your surrogate candidate is also comfortable with that. Other issues may be your surrogate's eating habits, her diet, certain issues surrounding that are important to you. For example, that she's not just a vegetarian, or that she eats organically or doesn't eat certain seafood, these sorts of things. Again, coming to a good understanding of where she is at with respect to the issues that are very important to you. Other issues may be what sort of physical activities she engages in. Certainly, meeting with her husband is important. That may happen during your first meeting, or it may happen in a subsequent meeting, but it's very important. I think asking her what is important to her about your relationship, what sort of communication she is hoping for, as well as what sort of communication she's hoping for later on after the birth. Very, very important, perhaps one of the most important considerations that you both have to agree on is issues of termination of a pregnancy. Do you want full decision making authority? Does she have certain limitations? Does she have certain qualms about when she would feel comfortable terminating? And again, you may want complete decision making authority, but it's also important to gauge how she feels about it, because when asked to actually do it, it can become very difficult. So it's really all about making that list and making sure that you go through it and that you can ask those questions. If you're working with an agency, typically, as with my agency, we are discussing thoroughly with the surrogate expectations regarding compensation and or living expenses and other reimbursements. So you typically don't have to become so involved in the financial aspects. If you're working independently, however, it becomes very important to really discuss expectations on both sides regarding finances. Um, So I think the idea that you shouldn't be too personal is well founded. I think it's also really important to understand that this is a very, very personal relationship. And so there are going to be personal questions. And certainly, if you're working with an agency, once you have your list together, you can present your list to your agency representative, and he or she can go over these, perhaps even give you some ideas that you hadn't thought of, talk to you about boundaries, if they seem to go too far, or perhaps not even go far enough. I hope this was helpful to you, and as usual, I'll be presenting more videos answering typical questions. And for surrogate candidates, I will also be doing a video for you on the questions you should be asking your intended parents. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.